Hello, I'm Stephen Fleming, coach of the Chennai Super Kings, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have posted on social media or on our website as fans of our franchise. I'll start with this one by Mohan K from Melbourne, describes himself as a long-time IPL fanatic and Chennai Super Kings fan. Mohan wants to know how Dhoni got the moniker Tala. Well, it's an interesting story, Mohan. Uh, we'd lost the first IPL final to Rajasthan, and Scotty Styrus and I were sitting around and having a drink after. And Scotty mentioned that the team without MS was like a chicken with its head cut off. And I asked Badri, I think, well, what head meant in the word, the Tamil word for head. And he said Tala. And so that's how Tala was born, and so it never fails to make me laugh when I hear Tala for a reason, because no one really knows the reason um, until today. So there you go.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review. Can we rock and roll, please?
Hello and welcome to episode 122 of the Bits and Pieces podcast. 122 is a very special number in cricket because it combines two important concepts. The concept of the 100, the individual milestone, an obsession that's unique to this game, and the concept of 22 or catch 22, the quintessential paradox for all modern T20 batters when it comes to the aforementioned milestone of the 100. Do I play for milestones or do I not? Catch 122. That's the number, that's the episode. Our long-time listeners will remember a time when we used to have a panel of 7-8 members vying for airtime on this wonderful podcast. As primary school teachers would ask, is this classroom or fish market? It used to be that noisy. Our video listeners or our video viewers in recent times would have noticed that the last few episodes, we have not had so many people coming and participating in this podcast.
It's basically similar to how our hairline is receding. That level of thinning has happened to the podcast panels right now.
Yeah, and talking about age catching up, it also reminds me, by the way, of Chennai Super Kings. But we'll get to that in a moment, right? So the last few weeks, like I was saying, the panel size has shrunk. So we now are a 3-member podcast. Last week was 3 members. Again, this week is 3 members. So let me quickly introduce this short and sweet panel of wonderful people that we have with us. I did mention Chennai Super Kings earlier, and the theme of today's conversation, for me at least, is going to be Chennai Super Kings. So I'm going to start off by introducing
it's PDP's
the person
voice
from
note.
I'm going to start.
Voice note.
Oh yes, we do have a Stephen Fleming voice note, which is going to make an appearance at some point in this podcast. To start off, where it all began, India's wonderful performance in T20 cricket can all be attributed to one man, a man who led the reins many years back as the first captain of the Indian T20 side, all those years back when they used to win. A very popular wicketkeeper, batsman, dasher, captain, especially down south. And Tony's hoping that I will mention Sanju Samson when I say all of that, but no. MS Tony Sebastian, the MS Dhoni of this podcast. How are you doing, Tony?
Hello, I'm Stephen Fleming, coach of the Chennai Super Kings, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have posted on social media or on our website. This next question is from Abhishek Chopra, El Chaponos on Twitter. Abhishek wants to know what the underlying philosophy behind the Chennai Super Kings has been for all these years. And, well, that's very simple, Abhishek. And again, this is something we haven't really spoken about too much. There's a bloke called Tony Sebastian, and we basically try and do everything we can to piss him off, and we've been doing that ever since. And so that's worked well for us. So everything that we do, including bringing in as many New Zealanders as possible, yours truly included, building up MS Dhoni into some sort of god, and we even hired or auction or bid for a bunch of guys whose name rhymed with Tony. So obviously there was MS Dhoni himself, And then, of course, there was Manpreet Goni. I don't know if you guys remember him. He's a big, tall bloke who couldn't really bat, couldn't really bowl, couldn't really catch either. But we had a lot of fun with a team song that went, "We've got Dhoni, we've got Goni. When are you joining us, Tony?" And that just brought the whole group together. So, yeah, to answer your question, the philosophy behind the Chennai Super Kings is pissing off Tony Sebastian.
I'm here literally to play the last two balls because no one else has turned up.
Yeah. Very, very unselfish, just like just like MS Dhoni is Tony Sebastian playing for the team. I mentioned this is where it all began because Tony, of course, is the father of this podcast, much like MS Dhoni is the father of Indian cricket, at least. Indian T20 cricket. Also joining us is Choppy Choparnos, who, with his wonderful facial hair, reminds a lot of people of Fahad Fasil. He seems to have trimmed his beard today, looks a little more dapper, looks more like Ravindra Jadeja. So he's the Ravindra Jadeja of this podcast. I didn't mention Fahad Fasil, but Chops likes to remind us all of cricket that used to happen back when we were all that remains is fossils. So he is one of the biggest fans of Victor Trumper and other old-timers. So welcome to the podcast, Choppy Choparnos. He has promised that he has watched a little bit of the IPL this week. So, of course, I am Nitin Sundar. I am the Simarjeet Singh of Bits and Pieces podcast. I have come in last minute and made an immediate impact. So we're going to quickly start off by talking about CSK's Chennai Super Kings have somehow managed to assemble a team of 7 people. So you long-time viewers of Chennai Super Kings will remember a glorious era when they used to have a glorious time when they used to have 11 players at least to choose from. In the last 1 week, the Chennai Super Kings, much like the Bits and Pieces podcast, have had a problem of personnel. So I'm just going to read out a few of the issues that they've been suffering with. Deepak Chahar picked up an injury, apparently, when he picked up a ball. So there was an interesting tweet that went viral. Mayank Yadav and Deepak Chahar ruled out of the rest of the IPL. One of them for bowling at 150 km per hour and the other one for picking up a 150-gram ball. Then you had, I think, the Sri Lankans in the Chennai Super Kings team, which is Patirana and Tikshana both.
Patirana, we know how he injured, no? He got injured when he was trying to, before bowling, touch Dhoni's feet, right? And he pulled a hamstring. There's video.
The real cause of the injury is his eyes stayed up his eyes went up for the celebration and stayed there.
Not able to see anything now. But purportedly went back to Sri Lanka to get to get visa for the World Cup, which is happening in USA. So consulate issues. Tushar Deshpande down with a flu.
He bowled today,
He came back. He missed one game and he came back. Yeah, they had other players missing. Of course, Devon Conway has been unavailable for the entire season. So they've been forced to play Ajinkya Rahane.
Because game day 11 or game day 12. Now you're updating Devon Conway. Nitin Sundar still on Internet Explorer.
No. The story I'm coming to is Ajinkya Rahane continues to open their innings in a season where every team is opening with dashers like Travis Head and
and Sunil
and others. We have Ajinkya Rahane, who's been putting consistent 7 of 9 balls every single match, by the way. He was also injured. He was forced to play despite an injury, and the impact subbed him after he batted because they didn't have anyone else to play. And all of that. So Chennai Super Kings have had a very funny season. There are only 3 types of seasons CSK usually has, right? There is that season where they make the playoffs dominantly. And then there are these seasons where they finish rank bottom, where they don't show up at all, right? Which has happened a couple of times. Then there were a couple of seasons where they actually did not show up because they were banned. But this is the 4th type of season. This is the 4th type of season where they are, somewhere in the middle. They're behaving like a meme team. So I want to bring you guys in. Chops, you watched the IPL this week. Please tell me you've been watching Chennai Super Kings.
No, I've watched very
little about whatever you watched. We will adjust.
I watched very little, but I did watch the Harshal Patel slower ball Yorker to Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
I think it was wasted on a number 9 batsman, to be honest.
Once again, can we say how good Harshal Patel is at not getting injured? Because after taking that wicket, he didn't celebrate. He said, I have so much respect for Dhoni that I won't celebrate. And in the process, didn't pick up an injury. So like smart
Wait,
cricketer.
he actually
Like,
didn't celebrate after picking up that wicket?
Yeah. He said I
He didn't
respect him
celebrate.
too much to celebrate. So Sunny would have
Wow.
approved of this. Like after hitting a six, he would take a single. Similarly, after taking a wicket, don't do these high jumps or in somersaults or any of those practiced celebrations. Right?
That's an interesting observation. It takes me back about a year and a half when Harshal Patel suddenly became India's main bowler in T20 cricket. Do you remember that era? And he was like a lock-in. He was the first name in the team sheet apparently for the previous T20 World Cup. Except he got injured a few months before the World Cup, and then they had to scramble and find someone else. And that's how Arshdeep Singh came into existence.
Oh, RP
Do
Singh.
you remember this?
RP Singh.
Where did RP Singh come from?
I don't know. Arshdeep Singh.
Miami. I think this season he's been good. No, I don't know the numbers, but he seems to have rediscovered his mojo a little bit with the ball. Perhaps with
I think
the
he has the
slower
purple cap.
bouncers.
Yeah, he actually has shared with Bumrah. He has 17 wickets.
Unlike all the Kolkata Knight Riders players who all have purple caps.
Okay, so tell me something. If two bowlers have the same number of wickets, should the purple cap go to the one with the lower average or fewer overs?
I think the person with the lower average should get the peak of the cap, and the other person should get the head covering. They just cut it into two. Yeah. That solves everything.
Oh,
They actually give a plastic purple cap as the trophy at the end of the tournament. It looks like a Mickey Mouse cap or something.
Hard hat. Yeah.
Fiber, a hard hat, yeah. Which is it's a good sign for bowlers, no? Like, anyways, you need hard hats.
Basically, that what umpires use, no? Who's that? Adrian Holstock or one of those guys, like to prevent head injury. No, they use the other one.
There is a New
Tony
Zealand.
Sebastian just used ChatGPT and invented a new name. Adrian Holdstock, it seems. Like, who is this?
Adrian Holstock is a legend umpire. What are you saying? Come on.
Okay, we are going into Ian Robinson territory.
South African cricket umpire. What's wrong with you? Come on, Adrian Holstock. He was there the last.
I don't know.
His name itself sounds like a stock image.
No, Adrian Holstock is basically what the tech crypto bros refer to as hodl, right? Like just like don't sell, like keep it. Sometime it will come in handy on some episode.
You're right. That is actually a real person. You're right. Yeah.
No, Macha.
So apparently now
Chance to talk about CSK, and somehow we've reached hard hats. But can I just in the interest of having some continuity,
Construction Super Kings.
that is actually Mohan K. Who
sentiment.
politics.
Imagine the plight of poor listeners who signed up to this podcast expecting some sort of consistency week on week, right? Except last week you got some major meta-analysis about what 260 means and all of that shit, right?
Yeah.
And true to form, the only thing that is consistent with BNP is the BNP jinx. Because after our friends recorded that episode, 153, 144, 162. SRH came and ruined with the 201. But KKR 169, GT 147, CSK 167. Guys.
And clearly, all the teams heard us, especially Chennai Super Kings, who went like a 10 overs in the middle of their previous match without even trying to hit a boundary. That was the most amazing passage of play. And today, even better, right? Like they had Shardul Thakur batting in the 13th over or something. Like they actually sent him as a batting option.
Yeah.
Instead of taking a batting, impact player.
Anyone but Dhoni.
Anyone but Dhoni. Dhoni came in at number 9 for one grand ball. But it's always fun to see two meme teams playing each other, right? And CSK this year has become like proper meme team. Punjab actually managed to lose this match by about 20 runs, which is some ridiculous big number. Yeah, some ridiculously big number, yes. And despite playing some fairly pathetic cricket, CSK are number 3 in the points table. Which makes me wonder what other teams are doing. So people who are watching, tell me what are the other teams up to.
This is left as an excess to our listeners. I don't think any of
When did they win so many matches?
They didn't, but the others are
They're one match ahead. They've played 11 matches. LSG and SRH are on 10 matches, right? If they win,
CSK has definitely been.
CSK will slide down to 5. So it's not a thing, man. It's just mathematics.
CSK has been the most boring team this IPL, no?
Exactly. This is what I wanted you to tell now. Say more. This is where I wanted to bring you in. Yeah.
No, I mean their bowling is, I don't know, very like random in the sense that Tushar Deshpande is suddenly like the apple of everyone's eye, and there is interviews etc. of him being published on Cricinfo about how he's found a way to succeed in T20 cricket. I mean, he's bowling the same ball every single time, and somehow he's getting wickets because batsmen are going for whatever shots. Yeah, probably that. And
but you just described all T20 bowling there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Somewhere this attribution between the wickets a bowler is picking up and the actual quality of the bowling is like completely, totally lost. Anyone who picks wickets is suddenly a star without like looking at lengths and lines. And that other fellow, what's his name? That KKR bowler who keeps shouting at the people he gets out.
Oh, yeah.
Harshit
who
Rana.
Keeps getting fined. Harshit Rana. Correct.
Another, I mean, useless bowler bowls in the slot almost every single time and celebrates like he's Dale Steyn or something. And people are...
So, right about this. On an entirely different conversation, you taught Nitin and me about Kabir Ka Dohe and all of that. So I think Harshit Rana deserves his own proverb, right? Which is, Ek Rana 100 bimar. Ek Rana 100 bimar.
What is Ek Anar 100 bimar? You eat one pomegranate and everybody falls ill. No, that's what it means, right? Hey,
one pomegranate is enough to take on 100 diseases. That is the actual meaning.
Oh, like apple a day type thing. One pomegranate was as good as 100 apples.
Choppy said.
No, wait. Let me first. I was trying to say, even a poisoned chalice can only kill 40 people because it's poisoned chalice. Anyway, now Chops, please actually bring Urdu to this conversation because that will be helpful.
Urdu.
But you know how the 40 got killed
by
because
Alibaba.
There's
Alibaba
and Chalice Chor.
Yeah.
The proverb that Tony is referring to is Ek 100 lohar ki, ek sunar ki.
No. It is actually Chennai Super Kings bowling attack. Ek Tushar, ek Simar. कितनी है bowling? बाकी सारी bowlers नहीं है. जड्डू bowling कर रहा है, धोनी bowling कर रहा है उसके बाद.
No, hold on. There are two proverbs at play here. One is called 100 sonar ki, ek lohar ki, which basically means that the goldsmith is doing 100 blows, but the ironsmith needs to do only one blow, which is going to be equivalent to 100 blows.
So but who are they blowing?
Which is
100 sonar ki, ek lohar ki. It is actually about the Bits and Pieces podcast. 100 लेके आता है तो सब anarchy. But even with 3 log, we have created enough anarchy today. Should podcast become about proverbs?
Because earlier we have always discussed amateur verbs. Now we are discussing proverbs.
Ek anar 100 bimar. Come on.
Yeah. That simply means that if there's like one poisoned fruit in the basket of fruits, then it can kill 100
Correct.
people.
Tony thought the exact opposite. If 100 people are ill, give them one pomegranate, everyone will become all right.
Exactly. Yeah. It is, dude. Like it means one pomegranate can cure 100 diseases. At least that's what I've been so. Okay. My contention is that it means that one pomegranate is enough for 100 diseases. Anyway.
One Pommy and Bangwa is enough for 100 diseases for everyone to listen to. Okay, what are the other IPL? Okay, we also have we have an expert Rajasthan is expert on this podcast. So Tony Sebastian now is going to hold forth and tell us about the best team in IPL. The only two games they lost were both off the last ball. They could have won both of those games. They lost by 1 run.
Exactly.
Games. And the most recent defeat of those ended in very strange fashion because there was a Yorker that was bowled or a full toss by, who was the bowler? I don't remember. It was a replay of Lasith Malinga's ball to, was it Harshal Patel? No, it wasn't. Who bowled that last ball to Rajasthan?
Bhuvneshwar. Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowled the first over, got both Butler and Samson. Samson with a peach made him look like Prithvi Shaw in the process.
And Butler with a pomegranate.
This episode is slightly meta to basically tell anyone who wants to run a podcast with that you can basically hold forth for 1 hour having watched just 1 over of cricket. Right?
No. You watch for one over, talk for 1 hour, and that's how you will win over your listeners. Now go on.
Correct. So there are two aspects that I want to talk about. Okay, one is that I believe on commentary was Swanee, Sunny G, and someone else. Okay, and here's a scenario: 19th over done. They're 189 for 6. On the crease is Ravi Ashwin and Rovman Powell. Okay, and Ashwin, thankfully, first ball he takes a single. Right now, no, I mean, kudos to him, man. Like, I was really impressed with Ashwin in the last game.
Very polished to drive along the carpet. 2 shots he played to get singles.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then they needed 12 runs of 5 balls. Okay, now Powell hits a 4, and then basically, like, the equation is further narrowed down to whatever, right? And in between,
6 of 3.
They 6 of 3, but I think even before that there is a couple of things where Powell hits a 2. He hits 3 2s in this over. Okay,
correct.
With Ashwin running, right?
Including one desperate dive to get into the crease.
Correct. Very, very famous.
And the fielding is all over the place. None of the throws are going to Ashwin's end as well, right?
This is what I want to discuss. Is that very famously at the other end is Ravi Ashwin, which, as Sidin Vadakut has told us in, like 10-15 years ago, that Ashwin, since his school days, never goes back for a second run, right? So here's the thing. Now, what I want to put forth to you is everyone on commentary, including Gavaskar and Swanee and everyone was saying, why wouldn't you throw it to the bowler's end so that Ashwin can be run out? Right, all of these 3 throws went to the keeper's end, and they couldn't run Powell out because he's Jamaican. I think there's some other Aussie commentator who was talking about how you can never run Jamaicans out. Right?
Clearly never fielded when Chris Gayle was batting.
Yeah. So my question is, like, why would you run Ravi Ashwin out? I feel like they were doing the right thing because Powell can literally win the game with another hit. By running out Ravi Ashwin, you're not preventing anything. Right? What is the logic in trying to run Ravi Ashwin out? Even if you don't get him, it just means that you've considered an extra run. But in the bargain, if you were able to run Powell out, you've sealed the game. What is the correct term to use? Especially because Sunny G was going on about no cricketing sense from the players here. And like, he likes to hold forth on something because he's played a few games, not too many, as we'll come to later in this podcast. But... what's this, man? Like, how does it matter? Like, getting Ashwin out doesn't count for anything unless you want to like reduce his average or something. Like MS Dhoni was run out by Punjab in the other match. But guys, tell me, who would you try to run out?
I will try to run out the person who I can actually run out. And the fact that they could not run out Powell 3 times. See, also, I think Rajasthan were down to what, 8 wickets or 7? 8 wickets down, right?
They were 6 wickets, right?
I would run out the person. See, saving 1 run is of use there. The fact that they tried 3 times and failed clearly means they threw to the end where they were not going to get a run out, right? I think. So ultimately, do you want to get a run out or not? That is a question.
But so the question is, are cricketers dumb or like are commentators not seeing it? Chops. You're fielding it straight long off, okay? Which is where Powell is hit it. Who are you? Where are you sending the throw to? Bowlers or keepers?
No, that's what I'm saying. The gut feel is to basically throw at the end where you can get the run out. Doesn't matter whether the stronger batter or the weaker batter is running to that.
This is an important point, which means by all instincts, we would throw to the bowler's end. Right now, why did these guys throw to the keeper's end? Clearly, it would have been a plan from the team. Right. My contention is that it is not a bad plan. I feel like it is a better plan.
I buy that. I don't think they were unaware of what they were doing. I think, like you're saying, they were probably going for Powell's end because they wanted Powell's wicket. So it's not like they were thoughtless about what they did. Maybe their idea was wrong. I'm not debating that. Because ultimately, you still want the run out, right? If there is no run out at one end, no point shying at the stumps.
No, but the run out at Ashwin's end really doesn't matter. Like Rovman Powell can hit 3 sixes in 3 balls also, right? Like if you can get him out, you get him out.
But to give the ridiculous counter hypothetical, right? Like what if Powell was not even out of his crease and Ashwin had run halfway out? Would you still throw to Powell's end? You wouldn't, right? So that's the question. Would you not say at all? No.
I'm saying instinctively they would have gone for Ashwin's end. The reason that they went for Powell's end was probably a plan, and I'm actually giving them more credit than the commentators. That's all I'm saying.
Which is fine. By the way, who was the opponent? Sunrisers, yeah. So, yeah, which is fine. I think Sunrisers also have been on top of their game, honestly, this entire season. They have not been a meme team. So, I will give them the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Unless they were looking at Kavya to see which end to point, which end to throw to.
She keeps pointing. She's often pointing like this. Like, throw over there. Which, by the way, reminds me of the other... the famous coach who used to gesticulate from outside, which was Javed Miandar. If you remember in that famous Karachi ODI, he's asking Shoaib Malik and Moin Khan to hit into the offside in a very animated fashion. But 2 important pieces of content to follow on that ball. First one, of course, Crikipedia, which is a sleeper cell Twitter account handle that posts pro Ashwin content. Posted this screenshot of Ashwin staying well in this crease until the ball had left the bowler's hand for that last ball. So Ashwin practices what he preaches, which is that he will, he will munkad a batsman if a batsman takes a start, and he will also stay in his crease. Even if it is the last ball and 2 runs are required to win, he doesn't take a start. So you're supposed to feel...
No, I think the reason that came out was because of one of the previous balls, they had shown the replay where Ashwin was backing up, right? And Swanee was like... very carefully, didn't use the word munked. He was like, I hope no one attempts a run out at the non-strikers end or some of those things, right? So
I've never understood that thing about, the whole munked situation, because I mean, it's absolutely fine if you're trying to steal a few extra yards. You shouldn't get run out. But if you're trying to gain an advantage...
Episode 72 of the Bits and Pieces.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no medal to be won if you are staying inside the crease in the dying stages of the match. You should try.
So, like baseball, they steal a base, right? You can steal a base without doing anything. Yeah, in that sense, I agree with you. So off the penultimate ball, again, one of these mad scramble twos happened, and Powell was a little bit more on the back foot, right? So he put in a massive dive. Hit his head on the ground. They had to checked on him, gave him a drink. And now on the last ball, again, it is our glorious panel. Swanee, who's very entertaining. Sunny G, who's whatever Sunny G is, and whoever else is the other guy. And now what happens is that Bhuvneshwar bowls a freaking full toss, okay, with 2 needed of the last ball. And Powell's like, what do I do with this? This has come out of syllabus. I'm expecting like wide Yorker, some, I don't know, massive short ball at my throat, something like that. He's got a full toss at knee height. Our man misses this ball. It hits his pads on the full. And they scramble through for a single, but midway through the single, our umpire has lifted his hands and given it out LBW, right? And now Swanee is really clueless, right? He's like, what is going on? Oh, they've out of reviews, they can't review, etc. Meanwhile, they've already reviewed, and like the third umpire is already reviewing footage. But Powell's walking off disappointed because he knows that even if it is not out, the ball is dead already as soon as the umpire lifted his finger, which means that you're still going to be one shot, right? It might not be a dismissal, but you'll still lose the game.
Yeah, the ball is dead. So that's not going to be another ball, and it is anyway going to be a dot ball. So that's the end.
And this is precisely where Bits and Pieces will add 10 minutes to this episode by handing over the mic to Nitin Sundar, who will regale us with the stupidity of cricketing rules as they stand. And do we need umpires at all? Can AI not solve for this already? Come on.
This particular scenario is something that people have spoken about in the past itself. It's not like this came to the forefront for the first time during this game, right? This very thing that, what if it is the last ball of a match and the wrong decision is given, the ball is going to get dead and there won't be another ball. A simple solution to this would be that, an umpire's decision is made or is only counted after the ball is fully dead, as it would be in case the ball were alive, right? But that's not what the ICC or the MCC laws stipulate at this point in time. I do expect it will get changed at some point. There wasn't enough controversy about this because on review, actually it was still out. So it became a non-issue at the end of the day. If it had not become a non-issue, no, it became a non-issue because people are like, they've anyway lost the game. It doesn't matter. It's anyway out. If that was not out on review, then I'm pretty sure, Rajasthan hopefully would have raised the issue with the authorities and hopefully something might have changed. But we'll have to wait. Obviously, until something big happens in World Cup finals, things don't change. So there you go. That ball, by the way, was the exact same ball that Malinga bowled to Shardul Thakur in the 2019 IPL final when 2 runs were needed. And I think that meme also, or that side by side of the 2 balls also did the rounds. Of course, Malinga's ball was a slow Yorker and Shardul was early on the shot and missed it under ZBW. But the fact that it was a high full toss and Bhuvi suddenly became the hero after he's not really had a great time for like a couple of years now, right? He's been going for runs. He's not been getting too many wickets. But it was good to see that, he had a moment in the sun, so to speak. But I think Chops mentioned this right at the start, right? It's very unclear what bowlers are bowling, what wickets are falling, how to draw any correlation between the two. The fact that the 2 people sharing the purple cap are Bumrah and Harshal Patel says everything you need to know about T20 bowling. What else is
It's
there?
a spectrum. It's a spectrum.
Yeah, it's purple at both ends of the spectrum. But yes, there you go.
Once again, how are you letting this rule nonsense go by so easily, Tito?
What? They have to change it. What do you want me to do?
Come on.
No, this whole question.
First of all, when should the umpire raise his finger immediately or not? Can we point
That's what
3 fingers back at the umpire for him pointing?
Yeah, and the simple stipulation would be to tell the umpire to hold your horses and only give your decision after a ball is dead.
Yeah, and our friend Gaurav Dasgupta had the simplest analogy, right? Which is in football. Basically, if there is a suspicion of offside, referee still lets the play continue. Once the this thing has materialized, then he goes back and checks if it is offside or not, right?
The problem is making a spot decision is too deeply ingrained into the psyche of umpires, and players also expect the same, because when an LBW appeal happens, the batsman is looking at the umpire. He's he's shell-shocked at that point.
But here's the thing.
And you've also seen this instances where batsmen sometimes get run out because they wander out of the crease staring at the umpire, expecting or rather looking at whether they've been given LBW or not. And in the meantime, the fielder picks up the ball and hits the stumps at the striker's end. Right? So it's just so ingrained into the players and the umpires already.
Nitin,
wait for a decision. You will have to change that.
I think the mistake by the umpire in this case is actually not waiting for the ball to become dead by itself in the natural course of events, because other umpires do that when they are declaring leg buys. When they are declaring leg buys, they will not say
or
as soon as the appeal happens. Yeah, wides or whatever. They will wait for appeal, review, this, that to happen, and only after that will they say leg buys. So because if they say leg buys earlier, then the bowling team has every right to think of going up for a review because it didn't hit the bat.
We're going into new territory here. You're right. But the LBW, the leg by signaling thing has always been the case. Even before DRS came into cricket, leg buys always used to be called after the ball was dead. I don't know
why.
Yeah, but I'm saying they didn't change it because of DRS. Okay. It always used to be the case.
Once again, football has changed it because of VAR.
Fair.
Even earlier, when forget DRS, right? So let's say Javagal Srinath has bowled to Jayasurya, because both played in the pre-DRS.
And David Shepherd is the umpire.
Yes. David Shepherd is the umpire. Beautiful. And the score is
111.
So he's
120.
So he's already, moving his leg up to prepare for leg bye and all. So he, the ball hits Jayasurya's pads and goes away, right? The umpire is carefully watching the play go on. Jayasurya runs 2 runs because someone at the fine leg boundary is really, really slow. And they come back.
Ajay
and after
Jadeja
that-
put his hand up and signaled to Ashish Kapoor at fine leg to field the ball. Yes.
So David Shepherd says leg byes only after everything has happened, and in the process, Javagal could have appealed for leg bye, and the appeal could have not had any response from David Shepherd. So I'm saying the same could have been done here. He didn't need to change his thought process because of the DRS coming into the equation.
You're right, Chops. The reason I brought the whole DRS thing was because you said they don't signal leg byes because that can influence the fielding team about reviews. All I was saying was that is not the reason why they.
No.
All I was saying was that has existed from before the DRS era.
When there is a bat pad situation, in the DRS era, it makes sense for the umpires, and a lot of good umpires.
Of course, it makes sense.
A lot of good umpires will not give leg bye because they are going to wait for the fielding captain to make a choice in those 15 seconds about going up for the review or not. Whether
that's what I'm saying again. That maybe they are doing it now with the added angle of DRS coming in. But even traditionally, umpires never used to signal a leg bye until the ball was dead. So but regardless of DRS era, pre-DRS and post-DRS era, there is not a single umpire who waits for the ball to die before he gives an LBW.
So the simple question is, can we just replace umpires with AI already? Because they're serving no.
We already know the answer. We already know the answer.
Because this was not even the biggest umpiring blunder of this one match, which I happened to watch. That happened on the ball before Travis Head was bowled by Avesh Khan, where he was clearly run out, right? And this third umpire is looking at the footage, and everybody know that Travis Head's bat is in the air as Sanju Samson has disturbed the stumps, right? But our third umpire, for some reason, has decided that his bat is grounded, right? And basically the normally placid backroom staff of Rajasthan Royals, Sangakkara, and everyone's up in arms in the face of the fourth umpire, who's putting his hand out as if to say, I don't know, like controlling traffic or something. But before chaos can ensue, Avesh Khan runs in and gets Travis Head bowled of the next ball, right? So everyone forgets about this. But I mean, if you have a third umpire who can't even tell if the bat is in the air or grounded, when everyone in the stadium knows that it's not grounded, then I mean, I don't know what we're doing with umpiring, seriously.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Sebastian, he is watching all the Rajasthan Royals games very closely so that you don't have to.
all the umpires have to be careful.
I do not agree that cricket umpires have a hard job. I think it's the cushiest job on the planet. I would happily do it if I were paid well enough. But I'll tell you what is the hardest job in cricket is to be an Indian selector, right? Selecting a World Cup team. It is impossible.
What do you think of the Indian squad, which is taking a lot of geriatrics along with them to the World Cup this time?
It's been a disappointing team, only what to say. I mean, they might still, do well, reach the final 4 or whatever the format is this time. But I think this was perhaps the best chance to move away from Rohit and Kohli in the first place. And then even if you have to include those, I think some of the selections, otherwise bowling selections and all, I'm not very impressed by those. I don't think Hardik Pandya deserved a place in that squad. I think this is the kind of tournament, IPL is the kind of tournament which should ideally allow you to pick players on form. I think for me, the 4 or 5 people I would not have taken to West Indies and US would be Kohli, Rohit, Siraj and Hardik. And probably Arshdeep also, but I mean, for variety, left arm is fine. But probably him too. So those 5 I would not have taken, and there are lots of people who could have been taken. So yeah, that's where it is.
Quickly, Chops, who are the bowlers you would have taken instead of Siraj, Arshdeep.
Who are the bowlers?
Yeah. Who are the
Harshal
bowlers?
Patel. Harshit
I would have definitely taken. I would have definitely taken Natarajan as the left-arm pacer. I think he's done well, and I think at least from whatever I've seen, he's done well in objective terms also, and not just going by the wicket tally or something like that. Another bowler, to be honest, I haven't watched enough of the IPL, but I'm sure we could figure out one more guy who has been more on song, I would say, than Siraj.
Tony.
From the beginning, I've maintained that the selectors have a really hard job, right? And their job this time was actually made easier in some senses by that idiot Jay Shah, who went ahead and announced like 2 months before that Rohit Sharma is going to be our captain in Barbados or whatever, right? Like for no reason at all. So then selectors have no choice, but if you're picking Rohit, you have to pick Kohli also. They come as a, sort of 1+1
Duo.
deal. Like you can't leave.
Leftover lesson.
The only way to get them out would have been for Rohit to pick up some injury mid IPL, which he could have done, right? Like it was not out of the realms of possibility. Then you could have thrown out Kohli also. But now that Rohit Sharma was allowed to be impact sub and not field and all of that, like it was not going to get injured. Like, so yeah, job made easy only, dude. Like once you've picked those two, then it's a question of like adjusting the rest of the team, right? And I have no real complaints, not just because Sanju has been picked, but it's like whoever you pick, you're going to make some people unhappy, right? That's just how it's going to be. But broadly, I think early on I said like they're going to pick Pant and Sanju, right? It just seemed that way from the way those two have been going about it. And obviously Pant is a larger than life figure in terms of both the selectors' minds as well as the people's minds and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And for once, Sanju has been extremely consistent in the IPL. So those were the real two slots that you could have played with. Everything else is like sort of slotted in, and then the bowlers are very subjective, right? I don't think if you're not going by the objective criteria of how many wickets they're picking, then it's all up to whoever is being given the job to pick, right? I don't envy the selector's position at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you on the bowlers and the all-rounder side also. I don't think it's very clear who the alternatives are, right? And I agree with Jobs. Siraj hasn't really looked very exciting as a prospect, and Arshdeep also has not really been top of his game. But these people have done well in past IPLs, and they've been selected. Sure, Natarajan is bowling well in this IPL, but he had a really terrible couple of years before this, and you probably want to go with a more experienced bowling unit to a World Cup. So I don't know if the alternatives were any better. They also picked 4 spinners, which apparently Rohit Sharma has said is part of a major plan that he will only reveal after landing in West Indies. Some of these Rohit pressers they're out there. I do definitely have a lot of reservations about the batsmen they picked. I don't know if Jay Shah is entirely to blame. I'm sure all the senior players, Jay Shah, selectors have all probably already discussed this and said, okay, Rohit and Kohli will be going to the T20 World Cup before
you didn't have to decide so far back, right? That's the only thing I'm saying.
But I do think it was decided so far back.
But
he need not have said it, sure. But but I think it was decided. I don't think he sort of threw it down, as a decree that the selectors then had to abide by. I think it was already in their idea. They already had the idea that these two were going. I think probably after the One Day World Cup and the way they batted in that World Cup.
I think there was, as usual, the interesting part that was revealed by Varun Murli, who pointed out the key part of the press conference, where some people were asking about, how Hardik Pandya was the T20 captain, right? And they were asking Agarkar, like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
Like literally, right? And Rohit just jumped in, snatched the mic apparently, and said, look, Agarkar was not the selector when all of those things happened, so it is unfair to ask him that question. Now times have changed, scales have fallen from their eyes. So Hardik is no longer the captain. Therefore, I am your captain now. In that, what is it?
Talk me.
So one of those. Talk me. Yeah, that only.
Talk me. Okay, fine. They picked the old timers and they want experience. Who knows? Kohli and Rohit might have a wonderful World Cup and might even win it.
Objectively, the only two people I would drop from this team are Rohit and Kohli, like without blinking. right? Like,
no,
give me a paper.
no, the
first
first
two names to
person-
chop off. That's it.
The first person who I feel should not have been in this team is Hardik Pandya. And it has almost, you could make an argument, obviously, just on form basis. He's been pretty pathetic shit in this IPL. But leaving that aside, everything that's gone on in Mumbai Indians, and the fact that he's the captain, Rohit is playing under him, and the entire bad blood that is very clearly created in the Mumbai scenario. Now you created the inverse situation in the Indian team, and you're taking both of them. This is like recreating the 2007 World Cup, except it's not the captain and the coach who are at loggerheads, but
it's a little bit narrative and results driven, right? To be honest, what has Jadeja or Akshar Patel done, right? Hardik
doesn't matter, right? I don't know, but
none of them
deserve to be in there. That's what I said. There are no alternatives when it comes to all-rounders and bowlers. I told you, they could have picked anyone.
No, the point is, this whole Hardik versus Rohit thing in Mumbai. To be honest, I don't know how much of it is pure invention of gossipers or rumor mongers or whatever. And no, see, it's very clear that something is wrong in the team, right? And what is wrong, whether it's just people going out of form together at once, or it's too immature.
No, it is
mature
just that.
people or two people who you would expect to be mature behaving immaturely. It's very difficult to say. So. To me,
I think you just stated, by the way, Chops, you just stated the two extreme positions, right? I am saying it's neither. What we have seen over the last 6 to 8 months, ever since the Hardik appointment in Mumbai Indians was made, you've seen these Instagram stories that Mumbai Indians players, a lot of whom, by the way, play for India. But it is the same people, right? If you're Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan are putting out stuff.
No, but honestly, like, that's just nonsense on their part, right? Like, at the end of the day, Bumrah was the one who was most disappointed. He turned up and like had an amazing season as he always does, right? Like,
Tony, but
those
again,
things are very
my
different.
point is, I'm not saying that they were mature when they put out those posts, right? Whether it's nonsense or not. I'm saying you saying that Mumbai Indians is where it is only because of on-field form. I'm pretty sure all of this contributes to it.
No, it is. No, so okay, then what is your explanation for Bumrah rocking up and having one of the great IPL seasons that he's had, right? Like
it's Bumrah, dude. I don't know what the point is. You're telling me the fact that Bumrah is doing well.
My point is
that Tendulkar scored thousands of runs in the 90s.
No,
that there was no match fixing, right?
One second. Cricket is a game of individuals. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not about it is individuals and independent events. Let's state that very clearly, right? Like, just because I am holding a grudge against Hardik Pandya doesn't mean if I'm given the chance to go out in the middle and bat, I suddenly let that carry onto the field, right? I am going to play the way I am going to play because, like, it is important to me, right? Like, whether it is Rohit or Ishan Kishan or Sky or whoever it is, you will perform to the best of your ability, dude. I think this whole captaincy thing is overrated, to be honest. Beyond a point. Of course, it doesn't mean that
you're talking about
there is
different
no
things again.
bad blood on the field.
You're talking about different things again, right? Whether captaincy is overrated or not is not the point I'm making at all. The point is, if you're a bowler for Mumbai Indians, and you're seeing your former captain now being sent to fine leg where he doesn't have a say, and your new captain is yelling at you half the time, and is also performing third ball level on the field, and knows everyone in the crowd has gone against him. Your home crowd is baying for your blood, for your team's blood, right? As a result of it, all that is bound to have an impact on your performance.
No, that's why I said these are the conditions under which Bumrah is playing and performing, right? So
that's what I'm saying. No, Tendulkar scored 10,000 runs in the 90s, and hence there was no match fixing. I don't know what the argument.
It's also important to state at this point that Tendulkar won man of the match against Pakistan in World Cups in 3 successive decades.
Wow! Say more, Chops. I've never heard this one before. So, Tony, you're for Hardik Pandya's selection. You're fine with his selection for this.
Let's say there are two options, right? One is that we are saying certain decisions were pre-decided, right? Which we are saying is the case, right? So Rohit as captain is pre-decided. Now, then you're saying like rest of the team will pick based on form or how are they performing inside. I don't think that's a fair assessment, right? So
I didn't say any of that. My question to you is, what is your take on Hardik Pandya's selection? Something in all you're telling now.
No, Hardik has to play. Like,
that's your sense.
Hardik plays above Jadeja and Akshar Patel for sure, 100%. Or Ashwin, if he's even part of the equation.
Jadeja now has 2 Man of the Match awards in the IPL. FI.
It doesn't matter. Hardik is your, all said and done, Hardik is your number one all-rounder. Like there is no question about that. In my view, and I'm guessing a lot of people's view, the only person who can feel hard done by this whole selection thing is Rinku Singh. Everyone else, okay, fine. Like we see you, okay, it's fine.
Rinku
like,
has had a third ball of an IPL. I mean, I feel for the guy.
No,
but wait, come on. Dude, you have the IPL happening just before the World Cup. You're on the fingers of the team and you had a third one.
No. How is Arshdeep getting picked?
We have 75 batting options. We have 4 bowlers. It's simple. That's all. And 18 wicket keepers. Let's not forget.
Yeah, I think we've arachmouthed this enough to move on to the next discussion, which is how after being picked, the entire Indian team has put 30.
Yeah. So I was tweeting about this until I stopped because it was not good for my mental health. No, wait. Except Kohli, yes.
Kohli is a separate section. We'll come to that.
Indian players in games following the World Cup squad announcement. Rohit Sharma got out for 4. Surya Kumar Yadav got out for 10. Shivam Dube got out for 0 of 1 ball. And then got out for 0 of 1 ball in his next match as well, which was today. Hardik Pandya got out for a duck. Ravindra Jadeja got out for...
Shivam Dube. Dube is drowned.
Dube rehta hu.
Dube. Ravindra Jadeja out for 2 runs, but he has turned it around since. Yuzvendra Chahal 4-0-62-0 for the first time ever went for 60 runs in the IPL, which I found strange because he has gone for 60 runs several times in international cricket. How did he escape in the IPL? Nobody knows. That too bowling at RCB. And then Sanju Samson got out for a duck as well in the game that he played.
Solidarity.
So everyone, literally everyone has had a bad time of it. Arshdeep Singh has gone for plenty of runs. I think Mohammad Siraj probably has been okay.
Yeah.
He did have lose motion. Yeah, he said after winning man of the match, in the last match, that he was unwell and had loose motion and all that.
Wow. Okay. So anyway, so bodily issues for Mohammad Siraj. But
lower problem.
So the one exception to the rule has of course been Virat Kohli, who continues to hold, I think, the orange cap. Orange cap.
Yeah. Correct.
And he's having actually one of his best IPLs, right? He's going at about 140 odd, 150 odd, or 140 odd. And he scored 500 plus runs.
Kohli has gone at a strike rate of 148.
Which is actually fantastic. By any standards,
if he can replicate this in West Indies, superb.
No, he won't. No. See, usually everyone goes at 135, so Kohli goes at 115. This season, everyone is going at 175, so Kohli is going at 148. That gap he maintained, basically. So in West Indies, whatever he put minus 20 from there. Yeah.
Now let's get to the interesting conversation around Kohli dissing commentators and commentators dissing Kohli. And Kohli fans putting fire to everyone on Twitter. Yes, what is happening?
Seriously.
Kalesh Central.
Firstly, that Kohli thing, when he said it, it wasn't clear that he was criticizing commentators, right? It seemed like he was talking
only Harsha Bhogle. Are you saying Harsha Bhogle is an commentator?
No, he was, what did he say? He said, for me, it has become muscle memory now. I think he was talking about his
No, he was saying that it is okay for you to criticize strike rates and all, but, like, I've played 15 years of cricket or something like that. Basically saying that Harsha Bhogle has no idea of what it is like to play. Right? And
I don't think he... Was that directed at Harsha or generally people like us?
See, there are 2 people on Twitter who only see strike rates when Kohli is playing and conveniently forget strike rates when Rohit Sharma is playing, right? Those 2 people are Harsha Bhogle and Nitin Sundar, right? Every time Kohli makes any amount of runs, Harsha and Nitin are like up in arms saying, hey, what 150 strike rate you're going at, everyone else going at 180. Rohit Sharma quietly put 7 of 10 balls, no comment. Okay. Yeah, captain, no captain.
So, why is this a Rohit versus Kohli situation? Like we know it is a package.
Because it is Siamese twins, buy one, get one free. Like at this point in time, all of this season is leading up to the World Cup only. Like if you're...
so actually if you are a package deal, then if you're defending Kohli, you're also defending Rohit, no? Or if you're attacking Kohli, you're also attacking Rohit.
You're saying the first person to say both of them have to be dropped. I'm saying like it's not an either or.
I was the first person on the spot to say this.
I second you. No, Rohit Sharma has had such a terrible season. I can't find him in the first. Okay, how many runs has Rohit Sharma scored this season? You won't find him.
Rohit, by the way, has also had his best season in 5 years. FYI.
Sharma makes it to the top 15, guys. He's number 15 as we speak. What do you know? He's got a better strike rate than Kohli. He's at 154. So
there you go. Point has been made.
But once again, what was more interesting was then Sunil Gavaskar coming out yesterday and attacking Star Sports on a Star Sports commentary feed, right? Which is like him saying Star Sports has played this video 15 times without realizing that Star Sports is holding the commentators and paying them for saying opinions on Star Sports. So if Star Sports can't respect its own commentators, then what do you expect other people? Star Sports must take corrective action. And poor Mayanti Langer is like, what was signed up for?
That whole thing was so funny, right?
Because Macha, you should have watched Haydos. He was like, what the fuck? I didn't sign up for this at all.
And Sunny G, right? In typical Sunny G fashion, also made it a point to say, yeah, I've played a little bit of cricket, not too much, to say that, okay, you can have a go at Harsha Bhai, but not me. But anyway, yeah.
Poor Harsha, everyone is selling him down the road. But Sunny also, dropped the truth bomb in the middle of everything. I can only talk about the matches where I watched, where he was going at 115 strokes in it. Other matches I actually don't watch. It was also funny that Mayanti Langer suddenly took over, like the producer of the show and said, yes, sir, we will take on that feedback. And Gavaskar's request also was, I request them not to play it again today. That was his final thing. Can you please stop playing that video?
No, so the only thing there was, I don't know why Gavaskar sort of took it upon himself to defend all the commentators. Like, it wasn't, and he mentioned it repeatedly that I am talking about not just me, but also all the commentators sitting in the panel and whatever else. So, like, it wasn't even directed at you. Why have you got to take unnecessary panga? And I don't know if this goes back to that whole incident where
Tony, do you remember that Anushka Sharma and Gavaskar had one thing where Gavaskar said something very sexist, very stupid on commentary? This happened like a couple of years back.
Oh, really?
And she then posted a story. So maybe there is an ongoing feud between Gavaskar and Kohli family.
I don't remember this. Yeah, but I mean, vaguely remember this. That something had happened.
Yeah, we don't even remember what happened yesterday. We remember things that happened 2 years back.
Correct.
No, actually, all of this goes back to a very key question, right? So, Tony, you mentioned the selectors have the toughest job on the planet.
Indian selectors, not New Zealand selectors. Those guys have the easiest job. They're like, what meme template do I fit this year? Yeah, like last year we used kids. What do? This year we use sheep. And these are the two options that we have.
Last time we used 92 grey jersey. This time we'll use 99 blue jersey.
That's all. Yeah.
That's all. Meme is done. No, my question is, do you think selectors are actually scared to drop some of these players purely because of the kind of reaction it would elicit from diehard fans and fan armies?
Look, it's a tough one, right? I mean, you should know this better than me, that I'm guessing there is like a whole brotherhood kind of thing there, right? Like, you don't become a selector in a vacuum, right? You don't become a selector because you're amazing at selecting teams, right? You need backing from certain lobbies, certain players, certain forces that are happening to put you there in the first place. And then you sort of have to work around that whole thing, right? Like, how did Agarkar become a selector? Does he have like a great track record of being a great selector?
I think he was selected
for... No, I'm
for...
honestly asking.
No, I think he was selected for...
no, he was selected for Mumbai's Ranji team.
Mumbai, yeah. And also, I think it was not easy for the BCCI to convince him to take up the job, because obviously the selector job, chief selector job will not pay anywhere near what he can earn with all of these media jobs and commentary and all of that stuff. So I don't know if we approach selection in the best way possible. I mean, of course, England, for example, has a completely different approach to it. Whether it's working for them or not, I don't know. But I don't know if this whole thing of fan armies, this, that, whatever is something that we should really give the benefit of doubt to the selectors, because I mean it's a reality of everything that happens, in this day and age. So you drop someone. I think it's just that the courage required, as we discussed, for dropping them is perhaps non-existent right now. And
so Nitin, and therefore Chops, both of you, your contention is that Jay Shah said that Rohit Sharma will win the World Cup because Agarkar had made it clear to him that Rohit Sharma is going to be my captain as per my selection.
That's not what I said, no.
Then
I don't think it was Agarkar's call also. I think across Jay Shah, Agarkar, Rohit and maybe even Kohli, they had already had this discussion. And I don't know.
What about Dravid? Where does Dravid feature in this?
Sorry, I completely forgot about the great voter. Yeah, Rahul Dravid also would have been a part of this discussion, I believe.
Roger is just standing there.
What does Roger Binney do? Hey, Roger, yaar funny.
Isn't he like the president or something?
If you say so. I'm actually reminded of 3 instances, right, in Indian cricket, at least since the 2000s, where something big involving a senior player, a big call has been taken. One was, of course, when Ganguly was dropped, and that was instigated by Greg Chappell, who obviously came from outside and probably was not beholden to some of the pressures that maybe Indians themselves feel. And we all know how that ended, right? Like the Indian team got booed when they went to Kolkata and all of that. Then you have Dravid initiating the thing before the 2007 T20 World Cup. And Dravid, Ganguly and Tendulkar unilaterally deciding not to play that tournament, which, of course, in hindsight was a very, very mature move by all of them. Apparently, Ganguly still tried to get in through the back door, but thankfully was not allowed to. The third was when Dhoni, as captain, said, I will not play these 3 players together because that then affects the quality of fielding. So I'm going to rotate them if you keep them in my squad. And that was Tendulkar, Sehwag and Gambhir, right, in 2012, in that Commonwealth Bank series. That also, I mean, again, Dhoni being the captain, and he had pretty much de facto reign over Indian cricket at that stage, because Srinivasan was running the team, was running CSK. Dhoni was CSK captain, India captain, had also won the World Cup, couple of World Cups. So he was able to get something of that way underway. I think since then we have not actually had sort of a force in Indian cricket that is capable of taking a big call involving certain senior players. And that includes, by the way, the latter stages of Dhoni's own career, where he continued to play because there was nobody big enough to tell him, okay, dude, it's enough. Stop playing one-day cricket now. Right? And something needs to change. I don't know when it'll happen. But I dare say there aren't too many countries. Maybe Pakistan would be an exception, but players of Kohli's and Rohit's kind of might not have made this T20 World Cup squad in most of the other countries that are playing this tournament. Okay, let me say.
Is Kane Williamson part of New Zealand's T20 side?
Yeah,
they're in New Zealand. You made that point. How many players do they have?
No,
but Steve Smith has been dropped.
Steve
Smith has
and Pat Cummins is not.
When did Steve Smith has been dropped from the IPL itself, man? Come on.
Pat Cummins is not their captain after having won 2 World Cups in less than 12 months, okay. and leading a great IPL charge as captain as well. I'm just saying some of the other teams are not as wedded to their superstars, even if they have like great performances backing them. But India has long memories, and legends are.
Here's the thing, right? Like in 2007, credit goes to Dravid only, right? It's not like the selectors did anything major.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, no one was expecting the team to do anything, and they pulled it off. It was one of those Dhoni magic moments. So comparing that to anything else is unfair. Yeah. No, but if you were a selected, what are you trying to optimize? I mean, you're basically going by your judgment call at the end of the day, right? So, and that
my sympathies are with the selectors because they are also trying to cover their ass. You don't want to send Abhishek Sharma and Rinku Singh to the World Cup, and then if you lose it, then everyone is going to come out Agarkar. His tenure is done, right? And he's not going to get another media job also.
Yeah.
If you lose with Kohli and Rohit, they'll still be like, okay, you can't really blame the selectors at that stage. You'll blame Kohli and Rohit at that stage as fans, if at all. But,
their big call was dropping like KL Rahul, Shubman Gill. Who else?
They have to drop those guys to include these guys.
Shreyas Iyer.
Shreyas Iyer has dropped himself. He's batting at 7 and all now. Like he's like, I'll become the next Dhoni. I'll
No,
bat at
just
number 9.
ahead of Rinku, no, so that Rinku also doesn't get to go. So
I think today he batted after Rinku. No.
that's another whole thing, right? Which is that one batch of the World Cup team is leaving just before the playoffs, and the rest
Most
is
of the
leaving
Indian
after the
players are in the
playoffs.
bad teams. Most of the
So
Indian
only Rajasthan players, only Sanju, Yashasvi, and
Sanju and
Chehal.
yeah,
Chehal for some
Yeah,
reason
UZ.
is in the.
correct.
That's it. Yeah, I guess the other 12
That's
are
it.
pretty much on the play.
Yeah.
Good arrangements made.
By then they would gotten the good roommates, found good breakfast scenes.
I'm just thinking whether that the calls that these selectors are making, I don't know if there's enough incentive to really do something different at any stage. I mean, and that's been true even for the 2007 or 2011 or whatever. At no point, even going back as far as Kapil Dev, Sunil Gavaskar, all of these guys kind of overstayed their welcome. So I think it's just
Yes.
how Indian society behaves, where you don't have to make any extreme calls and people will just bide their time by the time they're actually done.
Our superstars are still playing heroes when they're 70 years old.
No,
for
so
our movies.
Nitin, you are diluting this stuff. Chops is bringing the whole HR angle of culture into this. Saying culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? Like focus on your HR teams, guys. This is what is
But not if culture is doing intermittent fasting. In which case it just becomes muscle memory, as Kohli said. All right.
Intermittent fast is what Mayank Yadav is doing, where he bowled
Oh, I think it's fellow.
2 matches and then vanished. Then came back for one match and then vanished.
Apparently, selectors want him for BGT, where he's going to play.
This is only intermittent fasting. Superb.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, BGT is also
India will send a good team to the BGT. It'll be a team that all of us will be happy about, unless there are injuries. Hopefully none. So we will look forward
Just
to
ask, sir. We'll all be there at BGT. This is what you're saying. Boxing test. Look out for the bits and pieces contingent.
There is apparently a plan. So yes. Meanwhile, we will have a World Cup in the next month, and before that, we will have the business end of the IPL as well, where a lot of Indian players will not be participating because they'll be taking.
And before that, we'll have Sharda Ugra back on bits and pieces. Nitin.
We don't know that. We'll do the promo once it is 100% locked and loaded.
It doesn't matter. This is how you retain audiences. Like false promises. Yeah, correct. We'll win the cup. Yeah, that's correct. Okay.
On that note, we will bring an end to episode 122 of the Bits and Pieces podcast. Hopefully, a bigger panel and more famous people in next week's episode. Rajasthan Royals continues to top the table. Let's see if they go all the way into the playoffs, and we'll also find out maybe by the end of next week who they're going to face in that first playoff, and we'll also probably have a better idea of what the playoffs are going to look like. Until then, this is me, Nitin Sundar, signing off alongside Tony Sebastian and Choppy Chopper Nose. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.